Hello, everybody. Welcome to the lunch table. Usual crew: Evan, Zach, Nick. Today, we're doing a little bit of a different video for you guys. We're going to be talking about some movies. We're going to be doing our film review on Marvel's newest film, Thunderbolts, which came out a week from today. Today is Thursday, so it came out last week. And we're going to give our thoughts, go dive deep into it. We're going to hopefully do a couple more of these throughout the summer because the summer is going to be pretty big movie-wise. There's a lot of really good stuff coming out, and we're big movie guys. We've talked about movies a few times on this pod. We did the Batman stuff.
We did do the Batman
which is
stuff.
really fun.
That's a classic.
A personal favorite.
And then we did like a couple of our favorite movies and stuff like that.
That was a good one, too.
That was an enjoyable one, yeah.
We're all back for summer, so we're going to talk about some movies while sports, kind of dies down. Yeah, how you guys feeling today?
I'm doing great, Evan. Thanks for having us on again as usual.
Of course. Looking forward to talking about some movies.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, you can start and we'll go down. Out of 10, how would you rate Thunderbolts? Before we start, though, spoiler review. If you haven't seen Thunderbolts, go watch it before because we're going to be talking about everything. So.
Also, we are not, official film critics.
No.
So,
I am. But
We have letterbox accounts.
Yeah, we have letterbox accounts, which means we're basically on, IMDb and whatnot and getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to review films. But we are not legitimate movie critics.
No, it's really not.
If you disagree with our opinions, completely fine, understandable. We just love to hear your reasoning in the comments. I thought it was good. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I think if I had to give an actual rating, it'd be like an 8.5 out of 10, but you can't give 0.75 ratings on that. So the 4.5 translates to a 9 out of 10. I'd probably actually give it an 8.5 out of 10, but I thought it was really good. I thought that Marvel kind of posts writer's strike and kind of focusing more on the characters and their development rather than the actual action is a much welcome change of pace for where this new era of the MCU wants to go. I like how they actually gave depth to all the characters, some more than others, but we'll get to that in a minute. I thought Florence Pugh stole the show, as she does in almost every movie that she's in. David Harbour was great comic relief. I'm blanking on the dude that plays Sentry. Louis Pullman, that's who it is. Yeah, Louis Pullman.
He's in Top Gun.
Yeah. I was blanking on his name.
He's
also
Bob
Bob in Top Gun, too. I thought he did phenomenal in terms of playing a legitimately deeply broken character that's also very terrifying once he realizes what he's capable of. They gave John Walker some redemption-ish kind of. I just thought everyone in the movie, outside of a couple notable exceptions, had a part and they played it really well. I thought the dynamic between the cast was great. It reminded me of Prime Avengers level, which is that's what they were going for. So that was obviously a home run hit for them. I thought it was really good. I thought the cinematography was phenomenal in certain parts. I thought the score was pretty solid. Overall, it made me feel like late 2010s Marvel, where almost every movie they were cranking out was legitimately good and had some meaningful significance to the overall arching plot. So yeah, I thought it was really good.
Did Hans Zimmer, did he do the score? Or?
I don't think so.
It was somebody.
Yeah, I don't think Hans Zimmer did the score.
I don't think he's done any Marvel. He's the guy that did the
There
Dark Knight, right?
There was somebody famous though, because they were saying he's on a good run. I can't remember. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I gave it an 8 out of 10. So 4 stars on Letterboxd. I thought it was one of the best Marvel movies that Marvel's put out since Endgame. I'd probably put it up there with Guardians 3 and the Deadpool Wolverine movie, No Way Home. Those types of movies. When this movie first was announced and they kind of said who was going to be in it, I was like, this is 4 or 5 characters who I don't really care about. Yelena's cool, Florence Pugh, I like her, but I hated John Walker in the Captain America in the Falcon show. Ghost I didn't think was super interesting. Red Guardian's funny, but I wasn't super excited. And then the more they came out with trailers and stuff, I was like, okay, this looks actually really interesting. And then I watched it and I was and I had heard like, oh, this movie's like really good. It had like a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, and everyone was freaking out about it. So I was like, okay. Went and saw it, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie all around. I thought they did a really good job, kind of explaining and expanding the characters, because like all five of them were mainly side characters in other movies or shows, and they did a really good job at making you feel for all of them and giving you a kind of like a backstory on all of them, even though we kind of already knew most of it, but they kind of hit home on that. I thought Sentry was a great character. I thought Lewis Pullman did a great job from really the beginning of when he was introduced. He was like, confused and everything, to him being like this super powerful,
omnipotent,
like
God,
anti-hero type person who, I mean, and when they fought in that Avengers Tower, he just like made light of all of them. It was pretty nuts. Yeah, Florence Pugh was phenomenal. She sold the show. She does in everything. I think she's really created a character out of Yelena. I thought when in the Black Widow movie, I was like, this is a cool, like, Black Widow's sister, but Marvel's done a good job of like making her actually like a character, and in the same ways that we fell in love with Black Widow, she's kind of morphing her own, kind of storyline. And yeah, I thought it was nice to have another team up movie like the Avengers, and kind of that more grounded, like not multiversal, not space, just focusing on grounded stuff, which I thought was good. I mean, they were saving people in the streets of New York. Also, side note, if I'm in the MCU, I would never live in New York. I don't know how people still live there, but I really enjoyed it.
Earth-shattering event happens every couple of years in that
Alien
town.
Invasion, Fisk is now mayor.
Yeah,
it's all this crap. But no, I thought it was really good. I thought it was one of the few Marvel movies that I could think that genuinely had like a message to it. Like it stressed very heavily on the importance of mental health and making sure that, that you can talk to people if you're struggling with that. And they really, I mean, if you think about all these characters, like all of them had very tragic backstories, like Bucky with being the Winter Soldier, Yelena with basically being a child assassin, and then Ghost with her accident, and the Red Guardian was kind of like a failed superhero, and
got fed a lie.
Yeah, all of them were, and John Walker, had his dream, lost his family. Like they were all very.
Well, that guy's just a dirtbag, though. So
yeah,
he did it to himself, kind of.
Yeah, but I mean,
that doesn't make it not
it's
sad.
Still sad. So they're all broken characters, and they all came together at the end and formed a team, and that was kind of the thing they were saying the whole time. They're like, all we do is just punch and shoot. Like, how the heck are we going to do anything? And they ended up stopping Sentry. So I thought it was a really good movie all around. I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see where Marvel does from here.
All right, I was definitely a little lower on it than they were. I probably would give it. Are we doing like 0.5s?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it around a 6.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it. Thought it was a solid movie. I wasn't overly impressed or overly pleased with it. It struck me as a mid-level phase 1 through 3 MCU movie, which means it is one of the better movies that they've put out since Endgame. I will, but the bar is egregiously low, so I will agree with you on that part. But I just think that I think if this movie came out between Iron Man and Endgame, it would have been meh. I didn't love it. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, this movie's insane or anything. But I thought it was a decent, enjoyable movie. I'm glad I went and saw it. I did. Sentry's cool. I like Sentry. I like Bob. He was a funny character. Yeah. It's gonna be cool to see him throughout the rest of whatever they do next. But I mean, I thought he was a pretty cool character. Red Guardian was funny. I enjoyed his character, just good comic relief, like you guys said. But yeah, Black Widow's Yelena was the main character. I like her, big fan of her. Did not have near enough Winter Soldier, I didn't think. I think the Winter Soldier could have been focused on more heavily. But yeah, I just, I think like you said, all these characters are kind of side characters in most of their other projects. So it was nice to see him get the spotlight a little bit, but I I didn't think it was quite as astonishing as some people might think. I didn't think it was like an Avengers level movie where you got these like just classic characters and just fan favorite, just love characters coming together. Like I said, Yelena's cool. I'm a big fan of the Winter Soldier, so that was a big thing for me. Didn't really get enough of him, I didn't think. And then Sentry was cool. But I don't like John Walker. That guy is just a dirtbag, man. I'm not a fan of him.
I feel like
but that's what he
embraced
that's
it
his
more
character.
this movie,
yeah.
though.
And and he's okay. He had some funnier scenes where it was just like, oh, that's kind of funny, you know. But he's just annoying to me. Like he's just a scumbag. Yeah. But I think that's just kind of his character, though. So that's okay. But yeah, I mean, overall it was good. And I mean, like I said before we started, I talked to you about it afterwards, and I think I was a little bit more like, I think I was after talking through it more, I think I was like a little bit higher on it. Because when I left the theater, I was like, it was solid. I wasn't really anything. I wasn't blown away. I was just like, yeah, it was okay. It was just another solid MCU movie.
I feel like if you're going into that movie expecting like Avengers level action scenes,
which I wasn't.
Yeah, you're gonna be disappointed.
Yeah. I wasn't.
Because that's not the kind of movie it was.
I really didn't have any expectations because I knew nothing about this at all. I knew nothing about any of these. I mean, other than what we saw in previous movies of them as side characters, I knew nothing about them. I mean, obviously, I'm very familiar with the Winter Soldier. He's one of my favorites. Yeah. But he wasn't a big character. So the other ones, I was kind of just like, whatever. But so I didn't have any expectations going into it. But even still, I was like, okay, that was decent. I was like, it was solid. I wasn't blown away. I expect to be blown away with the Fantastic Four. Yeah. But this one, I was just, I came in with no expectations, and when I left the theater, I was like, it was solid. But then we talked about it, and I was like, all right, I kind of see where you're coming from. It was a pretty decent movie, but I would probably land in the 6.5 range.
I do agree with you about, and this transitions into one of my biggest complaint with the movie is that some of the characters in the Thunderbolts, like Winter Soldier, like Ghost, do get overshadowed. And like John Walker in the second half of the movie.
But I don't really care about Ghost though.
I'm just saying,
Winter
like,
Soldier's the main one that I'm like.
I'm just saying, like,
have more.
Some of the characters just in general, they portray all 6 of them as like equals, but John Walker in the second half of the movie, Ghost and Bucky don't get nearly as much screen time.
I really the one thing that I did really like about it was just the fact that it gave Yelena more.
Yes.
Like it kind of like exposed a little bit more of her character to us. And I think that was a good thing because like you said, with her kind of being the new Black Widow, that's kind of how they did Black Widow. The further we went along, the more we got into her, who she really is, and more people liked her. So I thought that was good. I really enjoyed her. But yeah, it's just I thought the Winter Soldier just didn't really get enough love in that movie.
Yeah. I'm gonna push back on that a little bit because I don't think he needed to have a lot of time in this movie. I mean,
I think his character's already pretty well established.
It is, but he's like Falcon everybody's favorite in this group.
Yeah, but he didn't. His role in this movie was to be I'm the poster child for like mistakes, trauma, and I've like dealt with that. I've done therapy. I've reconciled.
So he's kind of like the old man mentor.
Yes, that's what
I know. But I
think that the Winter Soldier, like you said, his character arc's been pretty much completed. Like we know from Winter Soldier, he was in Falcon and Captain America and the Falcon. He was in the new Captain America movie. Like his arc has already been set. We don't need a movie talking about him more. So for him to be like, okay, here's because that like when he said one line, it was like you can either like run from it or you just live from it, like live with it and do something about it. And that's what really kind of rallied the team around. So I don't think he needed to be this major character because that his character, he's already been the major character in a lot of movies and his character arc's already been set. It was just for him to be like, okay, like I'm an example that yes, even if you've done terrible things and you hate yourself,
you can change.
Like, yeah, if you talk to people and stuff, like you can change. And he really rallied them all together. So I don't think he needed to have a major part in this movie, and I was totally fine with him not because I've I mean, I love the Winter Soldier. I love Sebastian Stan. I thought he did a great job, but I just don't think in this movie he had to be the focal point of it because he's been the focal point of it in multiple projects before. So there wasn't any really more. The only thing that they could have maybe progressed in the story was his tenure as like a congressman. Other than that, I don't think they needed to. He really needed to be like the spotlight of the film. I think he was just probably put in there to be like, okay, here's at least somebody that we know well, and like people will watch the movie because it's Bucky, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess at that point, then it really comes down to just me or people in general. Just, do you like the new characters then?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know. Part of me, I like some of them. I'm not huge fans of others, I guess. You know.
Well, what made the first Avengers so good is before that we had all of these solo movies on each character.
Yeah.
And so we could really build in like the depth of the character, and you really like felt for the characters. But in Thunderbolts, which I mean, granted they don't have enough time to make each of them.
And I don't think they would each be hits. I don't
Yeah.
think. I mean, to be truthfully honest with you, I don't think people really care about some of these characters, like Ghost or like the Taskmaster or some of these other. It's like.
Yeah, that
Taskmaster.
Yeah,
but like
spoiler alert: Taskmaster gets murdered within the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Well, and honestly, even the Red Guardian, like, are people really gonna go watch a solo story about these characters? No, who cares? You know. So it's kind of, I don't know.
But just comparing it to the Avengers, because it is like a team-up movie. Like, the reason that everybody resonated with the Avengers, yes, it's classic characters, but we had a movie separately for each character to really build them up. And with this one, the reason people don't care about these characters is because they were all side characters in different movies, which is fine.
It's kind of this is like a Suicide Squad movie, kind of.
Yeah,
Suicide Squad when they actually do it right.
That's what it was. That's what. When I came into it thinking like, okay, this is going to be a Suicide Squad.
And I think that's kind of what it was, honestly. Like, I mean, even comparing the Suicide Squad to it, I mean, obviously this was way better than Suicide Squad, but it was kind of a similar.
Yeah, it's like a group of like random ragtag people. There's some relief.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean,
and they fight a bad guy. I mean, that's kind of, I don't know. That's kind of what I kind of got out of this. But I mean, it was better than Suicide Squad for sure. But I just it wasn't my favorite. It's one of the best since Endgame, but it wasn't. I just think
that's not exactly a high bar.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing for me is if that movie would have came out between Iron Man and Endgame. I'm not comparing that movie to the Avengers or anything. I'm just saying if that movie would have been released during that time frame, I think it would have been meh.
That's fair
compared to the rest of them. Not necessarily just compared to the Avengers, just compared to all 23 of them in that time frame. I think this would be a meh. Yeah. Like it almost. I feel that this movie is kind of on the same tier as maybe like, I don't know what came out during that time frame that's like solid but not like phenomenal. Like maybe Ant-Man or like maybe the Ant-Man and the Wasp, maybe the one with the ghost. I would say those are both enjoyable, like fun, good movies.
I think this movie was better than those movies.
I think they're on the same tier. Because I think all three of them...
I think it was way better than Ant-Man and the Wasp. I didn't think Ant-Man and the Wasp was that good. I thought Ant-Man and the Wasp was okay.
I am saying that those movies are fun, enjoyable, like, decent movies. And I think that's kind of where I landed with the Thunderbolts. But there are implications in that movie, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. And that was good. That was good. But, you know, one thing, and this doesn't even have to do with the Thunderbolts, but it's just on the topic of Marvel. You know, you were saying, like, they didn't have time to develop these characters in individual movies, and it's kind of, you know, who knows about them because of that. How are they planning on doing Doctor Doom and Doomsday? He hasn't been in any movies.
That's the big question for all of us.
I don't know.
None of us know.
That's kind of concerning to me because
I mean,
you know,
in the Infinity Saga, like, they didn't talk about Thanos, but he appeared in like what 2 end credit scenes.
Thanos was in the first Avengers. He was in the second Avengers. He was in Guardians.
So he was like an end.
He was
a constant like tease.
You knew that everything eventually was going to come to him.
Yeah, well, I think the reason that isn't the case is because this wasn't the original direction they were going.
It was Kang.
Like it was Kang, which
was in previous,
which they had set up perfectly, but with all the Jonathan Majors stuff, you know, they had to pivot quickly.
Well, and honestly, it's better this way. I think if we could go back in time to like 2020, I think that Marvel should have never did Kang. I think it should have been Doctor Doom from the start. And I think that, you know, building towards Doctor Doom, things might have looked a little differently. Yeah. because their post-Endgame stuff, subtract No Way Home, Thunderbolts. Personally, I enjoyed Captain America. A couple other stuff has not been good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm very interested to see how they're gonna like develop Doctor Doom into this Thanos level threat, and he has only been in Doomsday.
I'm sure that will...
Unless he makes an appearance in Fantastic Four, but even that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. He'll probably be an end credit scene. If
probably will be in an end credit.
If anything, honestly,
I would assume that's probably the first half of Doomsday will probably be.
It better be a really long movie.
Well, I think it's going to be like what?
Close to 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be pretty.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just,
no, they have a lot that they need to
Establish.
Because, like, well, and the thing that gives me a little bit of hope with it is the fact that it's the Russo brothers.
Yeah,
They know what they're doing.
Yeah,
I mean,
but the thing is, though, is that like even
hinges on these two movies.
yeah, I know, but it's like even like
No pressure.
even as good of like directors as they are, it's still kind of tough when you're handed like when you're dealt like crap. You know?
They don't
it's
have
like
much to work with.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, like the Secret Wars is like awesome. It's a huge storyline. It's really cool. Doctor Doom is one of like Doctor Doom and Thanos are probably two of the most signature Marvel villains. So you're working with a great villain, and the Secret Wars storyline is really cool. But they have basically, like you said, crap leading up to that. So it's like they have to almost develop
Write
this
a whole new story
within 2 movies.
Yeah.
They have to write and end. They have to begin and end basically a Infinity War
level
Endgame level arc within 2 movies.
Yeah.
And it took them 23 to do it the first time. And they did it right. They did it right with 23. But I feel like they're gonna like I feel like the Secret Wars, at least in the comics, I think is like bigger than the Infinity War is.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
it like reset the entire Marvel comics, didn't it?
Yeah, it's like every universe.
Yeah. So it's like, how are we gonna get how are we gonna get something even on, or even close to the same level as Infinity War and Endgame when you're only working with 2 movies to write and end the whole thing?
No, I don't know how they're gonna do it.
And I guarantee, like, you know how you say Ultron is such a cool villain and you wish he had more time?
Yeah.
I guarantee you Doctor Doom's gonna be that. Doctor Doom is gonna be freaking sweet, and we're only gonna get 2 movies of him.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, no, I agree. I don't know how they're gonna pull it off.
this had nothing to do with Thunderbolts, so you can cut that if you want.
Fair.
But
That's a good conversation. I agree. Back to Thunderbolts real quick. What did you guys think of the third act? Like basically from when they fought Century to them being announced as the new Avengers. What were you guys thought?
I thought it was pretty cool, to be truthfully honest with you. I think showing the thing with Marvel villains is they've been recently holding back on what their main villains can actually do. They didn't do that with Sentry. Just look, blip, gone. That's crazy.
Where did he put them? Like, where were they going? They were just going.
They were like in like the shadow or the void or something.
They got essentially put in their own personal hell.
Yeah.
But the scene when Red Guardian saves that little
And
girl
then, boom.
and then bang, I was like, oh my
Oh
god.
my
Yeah.
lord.
Well, because
That was
I thought
unfortunate.
I didn't think they were like, I thought that she was just like gone, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, that was
Like, I cannot believe they put that in an
I was like,
MCU
holy
movie.
crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when I first saw that, I like audibly sat up in my chair and I was like, "Oh boy,
I know, I did.
here we go."
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I think they ended the movie very well with how they, kind of
Some
you had to like go. They had had to go like inside of yourself and like.
Some
kind of-
people hated on that ending. I don't think that's I disagree with that take at all. The entire point of the movie is focusing on like confronting your past.
Yeah.
And, like
I mean, it
dealing with
wasn't
your
this,
inner
like,
demons.
Massive battle.
And that's kind of what
Yeah.
happened. They went inside of Sentry. I mean, and kind of had to fix
Also-
or like his void.
The void design,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
It was so, and just the white pupils.
Yeah.
And then when he's smiling, you can see the teeth. Oh,
Yeah.
my
He was
Lord.
like scary.
Yeah.
Like when he was just floating, you see like 2 little yellow eyes.
Yeah.
Just black. I was like,
And then he just turns the entirety of New York.
then he just
and
goes, and then they're just just gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think he was a sick character, but I thought it was cool, like when Yelena stepped into it and like went into kept going into the past. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they did the cool trick where she broke through the wall and then the camera tilts, you know, and it looks like she's falling down,
Yeah.
which I thought that was cool. And then how, like, Bob could see what, like, he was in his safe place, but even then he could like look down and still like see his mom yelling at him and like his parents being mad and stuff.
Yeah.
Constant reminder of.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people were like, "Oh, the movie ended with a hug." Like, what the heck? Like, yeah, but I don't think they need. First off, if they would have had a full battle, they would have all been dead.
Yes.
Essentially, would have murdered all of them.
You mean you saw it in the hotel?
He
The camera did not move, and they're all coming up to him, and he just like.
And he was like not even trying.
Yeah.
And they were like ran out scared because he bent a vibranium shield. Just
No problem.
nothing. Ripped off Bucky's arm. Threw Red Guardian out of the building and back into it. Ghost, like, he knew what she was doing, and then like nobody could do anything. He was just like nothing. So I'm very interested to see what happens with him, because obviously, you know, like they said, you can't have the Sentry without the Void. But I'm wondering if there's going to be some way that
They better figure out
they can balance it out, because he is going to be in the next movie.
Yes.
But I'm just interested to see kind of what his character looks like. But I thought he was sick. I thought he was really cool. I liked his suit was like comic accurate. I thought he looked really good. I thought he was a really cool villain. My only complaint was he wasn't like, we didn't see enough of him as Sentry.
Yeah.
Like he was
We
probably
really only saw
he
one
was
scene.
probably Sentry for 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I wish he maybe would have done a little bit more damage as the Void, or they would have done a little bit more with him. But I thought he was a great character, and I'm really excited to see what they do with him from now on. But let's talk about the end credit scenes. Those
were
interesting.
Yeah.
So the first one, nothing really happened.
Nothing. Yeah.
But the second one, so obviously at the end of the movie, Val basically says that these are the new Avengers. And then as the credits roll, it's like a bunch of newspapers being like, "What?
When did this?
Yeah.
Where did
Like
this come
what the,
from?
like what the heck?" And so then the post-credit scene's 14 months after,
Yeah, it's a year or so afterwards.
and they're like the Avengers with a Z, because Falcon or Captain America copyrighted the name, which I think is pretty funny. And they see an intergalactic, or whatever the word they use,
Interplanetary
ship, and then they zoom in. It's the Fantastic Four ship. What did you guys think of that?
I think like I thought that was one of the better parts of the movie, like in terms of setting up the next movies. I'm very interested to see what how are we working this Avengers thing here.
I think that's going to be a main issue in the Doomsday.
Yeah, because we've got this group of like ragtag people that are the Avengers, and then we've got whoever Sam Wilson's going to make as the Avengers. So I think that's going to be interesting to see whatever happens with that dynamic. But the Fantastic Four thing, that's intriguing, because that leads me to believe that Galactus is just going to destroy their world, and they had to flee the world.
Yeah.
Kind of spoil the
That's
movie
what I
for
said.
you.
So I feel like I'm like, okay, it was cool. It was nice to see a little tease of the Fantastic Four, but I feel like I almost just got spoiled the Fantastic Four. Like I don't.
Yeah.
But I mean, it sets up Doomsday.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, so like chronologically speaking, Doomsday is the next movie, because you know obviously you got everybody on Earth now. I guess except for the X-Men, but they're coming from a different universe too. So, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm very interested to see the dynamic between the two new Avengers teams. I'm also more interested to see who Sam Wilson's Avengers team is going to be, because you've got Captain America, Sam Wilson. You've got the new Falcon. Who else?
I think Thor's.
Oh yeah, Thor's still
Thor's
here.
still
Yeah,
there.
Thor's still there.
Who else did they?
Spider-Man, Doctor Strange. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Probably.
Some capacity, probably.
I'm just trying to think of who they said's going to be in Doomsday. Obviously, all the X-Men.
Well, the X-Men are different.
I'm trying to think if it was any. There's so many people that they announced.
They didn't even announce Tom Holland though.
No, because he has Doomsday, Spider-Man 4, and then Secret Wars, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, but he's also currently filming The Odyssey.
Yeah, so he's busy.
He's a busy man.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of who else. I don't know. There was a. I don't know how much.
I have no clue who's going to be the new that Avengers team, and I also
That's
don't.
one of the big questions, though.
I also don't really know how I feel about the Thunderbolts being the Avengers. I'm like, all right, like these guys, like,
Well, I think
they're funny, but like, come on.
They're going to be the Diet Avengers.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah.
the main thing is like nobody actually thinks they're the Avengers.
Yeah.
They're just called that because Val was like, "Oh, publicity. These are the new Avengers. Look at me. I put the Avengers."
Yeah,
together."
yeah. It's like,
Like-
all right, like.
But I don't think they're actually. I mean, they might at the beginning of the movie, like Sam might be like, "What the heck, Bucky? Like, why are you stealing the Avengers from me?"
Yeah.
And he'll be like, "Ah."
They'll probably combine them both, honestly.
Yeah.
But I just think
Or
like the Thunderbolts are
Another
kind of like.
theory I heard, which I don't know how this might be far fetched, but the main thing in Secret Wars is half the people are like, "All right, we're gonna have to like kill another planet," and the other people are like, "No, let's not do that." And so they're thinking that like the Thunderbolts will be
So
like,
we see another.
let's
like,
not
Civil
kill a
War.
planet, and then Sam's gonna be like, "Well, we kind of have to." That's what somebody was theorizing, which could make
Why
sense.
would you have to kill a planet though? Where's that coming from?
Well, because incursions. Remember, incursions is when two planets hit each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when they collide, like they, so basically, to prevent that, you have to destroy the other one.
Yes, but I thought that like it was in Doomsday. I thought it was just like Doctor Doom, just like
Yeah.
destroying every other world.
Well,
and
he
there's just the
he,
one.
he does that because of that, and so I think in the comics they have to make a hard decision. Like, do we just have to we have to just wipe out this other world so our world doesn't get destroyed? But then Doctor Doom destroys it anyway. I think that's like
Oh,
how
okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
because like it's when they blend together, and so it would basically be like the X-Men world crashes with the Earth 616, and so
Yeah.
the Avengers are like,
So
well, we don't want to kill these guys, but we.
So they're theorizing that we'd see like X-Men versus Avengers versus Fantastic Four or something.
something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was you never know with the multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
Like we thought Multiverse of Madness was going to be like the most wild movie ever,
And it was
really
just not
wasn't.
very good.
So I don't know what's going to happen. Everyone has a bunch of theories and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well, we only got about a year till it comes out, so that's good.
but I do think that it kind of spoiled Fantastic Four for
Yeah.
me. But on the same hand, like
I
knew
want to
that
see
was
how it
gonna
goes
happen.
down. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm still gonna.
Yeah, like
go
I'm still gonna watch it, but I kind of speculated like, okay, Galactus is probably gonna destroy the world because no one's ever really stopped Galactus.
He's never been in a movie though.
I mean, he's been in Fantastic Four
Yeah.
movies.
Well, those were like before the MCU though. So I thought
Yeah, but I'm like, I
He's still Galactus.
but
though, just
from
as
everything that I
he was a clown in that movie, and he did not destroy the world.
but from the comics and everything. But from everything I had gathered, like I speculated that okay, the world's probably gonna like blow up or whatever,
Get eaten.
and then they're gonna have to leave. And so yeah, I mean, I guess that is cool.
That kind of like confirmed it. It was
Yeah.
It was.
I'm
it was-
still gonna watch the movie, but I'm kind of like I kind of already know.
You're going in like
gonna
expecting
happen.
how it's gonna end.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess it was a cool teaser.
Yeah, I would be okay if they didn't do that,
Yeah.
but it's
Or
all right.
or it could be one of those things where it's like,
Or maybe it's not even the end. Maybe they like travel before and then come back, and that's what brings Galactus in or
Yeah.
something. Like I don't know.
well, that could be it too, because in the trailer for Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic saying like I did
Yeah,
this
he
because of my
Tampered with a bunch of stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe he went there to Earth and then,
for some reason, and then came back, and then it's like, oh crap. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how the Fantastic Four turns out. I'm very, very excited for that.
yeah, I'm very. I think that movie's gonna be really good.
And I think
Agreed.
I think that this post credit scene did a really good job of kind of setting up like the future for whatever they're planning on doing in Doomsday and Secret Wars, but also kind of teasing a little bit of the Fantastic Four. So
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, I will say when I saw that spaceship, I was like, oh, this is gonna be the Fantastic Four, and then they turned it on. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah. There you go.
It was pretty obvious.
yep. Yeah.
Because yeah, I didn't really know. Well, I guess they shot that on like the set of Doomsday, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was like put in like right before the movie came out.
Huh. Yeah.
So
Interesting.
the first one they shot, obviously, when they shot the movie, but this one because they started shooting Doomsday a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that long ago. It was like maybe last week or something. I thought they like just started shooting
Yeah,
it.
but I'm pretty sure that was from
yeah.
from that. So
Yeah.
yeah, everyone, the whole talk of the town has been that the question has been, is Marvel back? And I know we kind of talked about the future of Marvel, but I want to get your guys' opinions. Do you think Marvel is back, or do you like the direction that they're heading? And how do you kind of? We can talk about this a little bit, but-
am hesitant to say that they are fully back, just because like I know what their peak is.
Yeah, they're never gonna reach that again.
No, I know that.
So, like,
yeah,
keep that in mind.
I know what they're capable of, and I know that they're never gonna reach that point again. But this is still the first MCU movie in I think multiple years. No. I'm not counting Deadpool and Wolverine because I feel like that's a whole different genre.
It kind of is.
Like you cannot compare Deadpool and Wolverine to like Guardians 3. They're two completely
it's
different.
kind of different.
It's a cameo filled, fun, crazy rewatchable just fun time.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really entertaining, but I can't put it in the same like
It's just kind of
in terms of actual
It wasn't like MCU until like the very end.
Yeah.
It was different from the rest of them.
It like in terms of actual like main storyline MCU movie, this is the first one since Guardians 3, which came out in like 2022, that I've been like, this is really good, and I really like the direction they're heading. I do have faith that Fantastic Four, after we see it, will be like, okay, Marvel is back. But as of right now, I am hesitant to say that they are fully back. More so, I love the direction that they're taking it, and I feel like they're actually taking the MCU serious again. Now that they have more time to like actually direct and write.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that I don't have enough from the Thunderbolts just to say that they're back.
Yeah.
But I definitely do like.
It makes me very, very excited about the next 3 years of MCU content.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited about the direction they're going, and I think that there is hope with this direction of the Fantastic Four and Doomsday. But I'm not going to say they're back. But also on the same hand, you kind of have to like take into account that they will never do what they did with the Infinity Saga.
They'll never repeat that.
So it's like
we don't need every MCU movie to be Endgame, Infinity War level good. We just need them to be
good content.
Movies. Yeah, just good movies.
Yeah. So I think that they're on the right track. I'll say that, but I'm not ready to say
the train
that
is back on the state. The train's back on the tracks.
Yeah, but I'm not ready to say that we're like, all right, we're back. You know.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think this movie. I think it was crucial that it did well because I'm expecting Fantastic Four to hit.
I think that one's more crucial, honestly. If Fantastic Four flops, that's kind of like.
I'm expecting that to hit. So now heading into Doomsday, you have two movies that have been really well received that are put you on an upward trajectory. So people are excited for Doomsday.
Yeah.
Like if this movie kind of was and then Fantastic Four is really good. There will probably still be a lot of excitement, but I think building that chain of good movies just makes you more excited.
It gives you momentum.
Yeah, it builds that momentum.
I will honestly, I will say this, and this is just going to be a take that is not popular, and I'm one of the only people that has it, but I enjoyed the Brave New World movie. So in my mind, you've got 3 movies going into Doomsday that have actually been enjoyable.
I thought the movie was pretty good.
So like that's apparently that's not popular. But
I'm just saying with the general population, they like Thunderbolts really a lot.
Yeah. So, but like general population, that's not a popular take, but I am going to stand on that. And that's just going to be one of the MCU movies that most people don't like that I enjoy a lot. Yeah. So it's just going to be, in my mind, I really enjoyed Brave New World. So I think you got 3 movies coming in.
I would have enjoyed Brave New World like 10 times better if I wouldn't have known that.
Yes, I very much agree with that. If the Red Hulk was not in the trailers and I didn't know that was happening, I think that movie would have been brought up an entire star.
Yeah, that movie would have been.
If they would not have marketed
they learned from that with the Thunderbolts and their marketing for Sentry.
Yeah, that's true.
But now, have you seen the posters for Thunderbolts?
Yeah.
Like it just says New Avengers.
New Avengers.
Yeah. So like if you didn't watch the movie opening weekend, you're like, oh, what the heck?
Yeah, you kind of all right. Well, that's unfortunate if you didn't see it early, but yeah, I do. I wholeheartedly agree with that. If they wouldn't have marketed the Red Hulk and we didn't know that was happening at the end, that movie would have been brought up an entire star for me. But I still really
something memorable.
I still really enjoyed that movie. So in my mind, I think the MCU began to steer back on track with that movie. Yeah. So I think you've got 3 that are going to be pretty solid going into Doomsday, in my opinion.
Speaking of that movie, Thunderbolt Ross is the president, and in the comics, the Thunderbolts are named after him. And so I was
really hoping him to be there.
Yeah, well, I mean, after.
There's no way. There's no way he would do that movie.
I did think it was I was curious. I was like, how the heck are they going to, say that they're the Thunderbolts?
Get out of prison easily, though.
Yeah, but it's
Everybody breaks out of
it
prison.
doesn't really matter. And they were like, "Oh, it's Yelena's 0-16 soccer team." I thought that was kind of.
Yeah, that was funny.
And
I
the
thought that
only
was
person
pretty
who liked it was Red Guardian.
Yeah.
He's like, "We're the Thunderbolts," and they're like, "Shut up."
Yeah,
like, no,
I did
what?
like
No, we're not.
I thought that was funny.
I did think that was funny.
But yeah,
I also thought John Walker had a lot of really funny one-liners.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And it was kind of brutal, but also funny when Yelena was like talking about like, oh, how they're all terrible, and she was like, "You know, you're a piece of trash. Like your family left you. You know."
Yeah, he
that
was like, I don't
that
have to tell
was
you.
brutal.
I was like, "Oh dang." He was like, "Yeah."
That's fair.
That was
And
brutal.
I thought it was funny. He was always like, "Well, I'm a," like kind of talking to how he's kind of a douchebag. He's like, "Well, I'm like a fully like been in the military, like
I've served my
officer.
country. All
I
this
was
stuff.
Captain America," and you're like, "Yeah, for 3 seconds."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he kept trying to be like, "I'm the leader of this team," and he was just never. But I do.
No
think
one took him
I
seriously.
liked him. I liked him a lot better in this movie than I did in.
I couldn't stand him in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I couldn't either. He was-
I thought it was interesting. I thought it was going to be interesting to see the dynamics between Bucky and him, because obviously Bucky is like he was best friends with Steve Rogers.
Yeah,
But I think they kind of explored that in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, like
Yeah,
that
they kind of
dynamic and
reconciled.
stuff. So
Yeah. Well, at the end of that movie, he kind of like turned a leaf because he like saved a bunch of people.
yeah, but he
But-
was still just.
Yeah.
I did not like.
They're not
him
gonna.
at
They're
all.
gonna make him the like douchebag.
They are.
Which I
They
think,
are.
I think he did
Yeah.
a good job.
He
It's
did.
fitting.
He did do. Yeah, he did a great job as a.
Yeah.
There's a couple one-liners, and I was like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Which I think that's how you should do comedy. Like when Marvel made like Thor: Love and Thunder, they're like, this is a comedy movie, and like shoved it down our throats.
Yeah,
And then
that
just
was-
gave you a bunch of ghosts.
And it
in
was,
every
like,
serious
terrible.
movie.
That was-
Yeah.
But this movie was like genuinely funny because it was just like normal conversation and just like people were just being funny, like not
on like a whim.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which I think that's how they should. But in that movie, they tried to force it. They were
Yeah.
like, this movie is supposed to be like really funny.
Laugh at this.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, it's just not.
We should do like a rank of like
MCU tier list movies.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down as well.
that'd be
be a fun
interesting
time.
to see how they compare.
Yeah, I might have to rewatch all.
But to be truthfully honest with you, there's really not many of the MCU movies that I just flat out don't like. Eternals,
There's probably like 4 or 5 that I'm like.
there ain't even that many for me. There's really not even that many. Eternals, if we're talking
Well, I guess
strictly
I'm-
movies, and it's honestly probably just Eternals and
Marvels.
Marvels that I like just straight up do not like. It honestly might be just those two, movie wise. Show wise, She-Hulk is putrid.
There's a lot of shows that did that.
Yeah.
But like movie wise, in me, it's really just because like even Love and Thunder, like it wasn't good, but I wouldn't say I just like straight up
Love and
do
Thunder
not like
was
that
more
movie.
disappointing than
Quantumania,
bad.
I wouldn't. watch
Yeah,
that
I
movie.
wouldn't
Okay, yeah,
Quantumania
Quantum,
again.
yeah. So I guess you got 3, but like yeah, Love and Thunder for me was more so just like it wasn't good, but it wasn't like horrible. And
It's more disappointing. Than
yeah. A lot of the one MCU movie that a lot of people I get do not like is Thor: The Dark World. I don't
that
see
movie's
that.
terrible.
I don't see that. That is
movie's
not a
so
terrible
bad.
movie.
Fourth.
That movie's so bad.
That is not a terrible movie. It's not good, but it's not that bad. And I don't know why people don't like the Thor movies.
I think the Thor movies are good, except that one.
The first one,
First Thor's good. Ragnarok's really good.
Ragnarok is really good. I freaking love Thor Ragnarok. That movie's so
I
good.
love the first Thor. I'm a huge fan of the first Thor. The second one is not great, but I don't hate it. The third one's really good. Fourth one is kind of the same as the second one for me. I don't hate it, but it's not great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's really honestly just those 3 that I'd say, yeah, those are bad.
Who knows? Maybe future video. Marvel movie tier list.
Oh, we should do that. That'd be fun. I've been thinking about doing some stuff like that.
There's
We
probably
should do more tier list content.
there's definitely going to be a good amount in the medium tier.
Yeah.
That's how tiers go.
Well,
And there's probably a couple S tiers.
oh, there's several S tiers.
Yeah.
Infinity War, Endgame, Civil
Just
War,
because you
Winter
like,
Soldier.
just because you like a movie
No,
doesn't
they're
mean
S
it's
tier.
S tier.
The 4 that I just named are absolutely S tier
I'm
movies.
not putting Winter Soldier as an S tier.
Are you kidding me?
I'd put it like an A tier.
You have an S tier? The Winter Soldier is one of the best MCU movies. Yes, it is.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
All
I
3
just
Russo
don't.
brothers.
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah, the Winter Soldier is 100% an S tier. Those 4 are like the
I would
first
look.
one. I'm like,
I,
yes.
I might sneak Black Panther in there too.
Black Panther, I think, should probably be an S tier. I'm trying to think what else.
First Guardians is close.
First Guardians would be a
First
teetering
Guardians
S.
is the closest Guardians of the three to make it.
That's a teetering S. If it's not S, that's an A.
Well, we're not spoiling this. We'll go in depth on this another day.
We're just the wheels are turning. Yeah. Any other closing thoughts about the movie or the direction of the MCU that we?
I think we're going in a decent direction.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
I'm excited. We'll be back in 2 months.
July.
Definitely teeters with Fantastic Four.
July is Fantastic Four, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Marvel, Fantastic Four, Superman.
That's exciting.
Jurassic World.
Sure.
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. That's the one. That's legit. I was joking about Jurassic World, but Mission Impossible.
I don't think that Jurassic World is going to be good. But we can talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
But Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible I'm very excited for. Those are like the three main.
John Wick, Ballerina.
Ballerina, yeah, that too.
Those are probably the four main ones I'm excited to watch this summer. Yeah, it should be a pretty good summer for movies. We've kind of been heating up. 2025 has been pretty good so far, I think.
2024 was a little bit down, so it's good that we're rebounding with 25 and 26.
I don't know if I'd say 2024 is down. I just think that the highs were extremely high. And then there was not very many, like... Dune 2
Dune 2.
Crazy.
What else did you have?
Deadpool was really good.
Wild Robot
Was really good.
Put Deadpool on the same tier as Dune 2. In my opinion, Dune 2 is the only like legit like wow.
I mean, Dune 2 is
Dune 2 is one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
So.
Don't know about that, but it was very good.
It was.
It was very.
It absolutely is one of the best movies ever.
Dude, you're talking some like
I think when we
really
did our top 10,
good.
It's up there.
I think I had it at 10 when we did our top 10, or had it like 9. I had it like.
It's
Dune 2 is a once in a generation.
It probably cracks like top 15.
That's just one of the movies where I left the theater and I was like, "Oh,
my life has changed." Yeah.
What did I just like? That's how I felt when I left Infinity War
And Endgame.
Yeah, I was like, "What in the world did I just watch?"
Yeah, I would say.
And it took me like an hour to process it.
Yeah, Dune 2, Endgame, not Endgame, Infinity War. I haven't felt the same way about any movie ever that I did when I felt after I saw Infinity War.
No, that's fair. That was peak.
That and
theater
Endgame.
experience.
That and Endgame both.
Well, Infinity War was better because I was just like, "Holy crap, these guys lost!"
Like they actually
like what?
Yeah.
Because I'd never seen them.
No, yeah, Infinity War and Endgame both for me. In my opinion, you cannot have one without the other.
No,
You can't.
absolutely.
Both, like Endgame is genuinely one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That is like both of them are top 5 movies
Absolutely.
on my list.
Yeah, just when I left
Wow,
Infinity
top
War, I was like,
Jaw on the floor.
yeah, I was like, "Holy crap, these guys like all died and they lost," and B, like right after that Spider-Man scene, I was like, "Oh shoot."
Yeah.
The ending.
Where do
scene
we
where
go from
Thanos
here?
is just
Yeah,
sitting
I was
there.
like, "Holy
Yeah.
crap, they just lost," because they'd never lost before.
Yeah.
But the portal scene was probably one of the best I've ever seen.
That was 10. That's probably
Endgame?
top 5
yeah.
scenes I've ever seen.
Oh yeah. That
10 years of build
There were
up.
people in the theater when
Crying.
that happened that leapt and screamed.
Yeah.
when
Oh, yeah.
I was watching.
Oh yeah.
It was
Yeah. People
awesome.
were cheering and yeah, that was a like you say Dune 2 is a generation. That was a generational experience.
Dune 2's up there. Dune 2 will be remembered kindly.
Oh yeah, but I don't know. I don't know.
Dune
if I'm gonna,
3 has the potential to be one of the craziest movies.
Yeah, I'm not ready to put it on the same tier as those two.
No, it's fair. I get that. I agree. Yeah, well, that's gonna wrap it up for us today. Let us know if you like these types of videos. We want to start talking about movies a lot, stuff like that more. Because other than sports, I'd say the second most common thing we talk about is movies
Yeah.
and TV shows. So, might as well. And the stuff we've done before, I feel like it's done pretty well.
Yeah, the Batman.
been enjoyable.
The Batman was that was such a good one.
I enjoyed. Maybe we can rank like individual Batman movies.
Yeah.
We could rank Batman movies. That'd be kind of fun.
I mean, we all know it is. Actually, no. Number one is a little bit.
No, it's not.
No,
We all know
It's,
it.
number
No,
one
it's
is not a debate.
Some people say it is.
Well, those people would be.
I am
wrong.
not one of them.
I don't think it is.
That doesn't mean number 2 is bad, because it's really good, but...
The first one is just
Also,
that good.
yeah.
Matt Reeves and Warner Brothers, get your act together and make Batman 2.
Matt
Real-
Reeves.
before I'm 90 years old.
Matt Reeves should be.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's the
Oh, it's all of their
it's the production company, because he might leave because they're not making it.
Well, they should everybody involved with this movie except for the actors should be jailed because this movie should have been out last year.
Yeah.
This year.
Okay.
The trilogy's gonna end in our mid-30s.
But as long as it's really good, I'll be.
I don't care.
I will still be extremely displeased, even if it's really good. This movie should have been out this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of stuff's happened. So, yeah. Let's know if you guys enjoy. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.
I will still.